From the 2011 Southern Kentucky Festival of Books, I'm Barbara Deeb, and we are taking you outside the book. Ever wonder what it takes to write a successful children's book? Well, we've got someone who might know just the right recipe. George Ella Lyon joins us. Thanks for being here, George Ella.
I'm so glad to be with you.
It's always nice to have you here. We were talking before we got started taping, and you were talking about the fact that you have 41 books in print. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
But you also said something else about the fact that there's no telling how many were rejected. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the first 11 years I tried to publish a book, they were all rejected. So that was a book of poetry for adults. I had many manuscripts over those 11 years. But rejection is just part of it, and I tell people all the time, don't take it to heart. You know, it's not a rejection of you as a writer. For some reason, this manuscript didn't work for that publisher at that time. This book, The Pirate of Kindergarten, I wrote a long time ago, and I rejected it myself. I thought it's too personal because I was a little girl with double vision, and it wouldn't mean anything to anybody else. But I kept it because I keep everything. That's one of my advice to other people as well. Don't throw it away because you may see something later. And when I read it again, when I was organizing my files, I thought, you know, this does have a broader application. It's not just about double vision; it's about differences, and the spirit and help that sees us through those differences. So it's important to come back to things, whether you rejected them or somebody else rejected them, and see what you can learn from them.
Kind of revisit them, as it were.
Exactly.
But even when you finish a work, do you still go back and revisit it, or are you one who just, once it's done, it's finished and it needs to go?
Well, sometimes there's kind of a holding pattern before I submit something. And then sometimes, even after a book is published, there are things I can see differently now, but you're evolving, and so you have to let it go and let it be what it is and go on to the next thing.
What about children's books today? Are they different than children's books were 20, 30 years ago, or is the genre the same?
Well, I think many things about childhood are the same, and a lot of course, because of our fast-changing world, a lot of things have changed for children. And the picture book came to the fore and has been a much bigger part of kids' lives, say, than it was of when I was growing up. We had golden books that you got for 39 cents at the grocery store. 39 cents. But, you know, now the beauty and the incredible art that's in children's books is a very different thing. And, of course, now we don't know how much we're moving toward ebooks. And I know a 4-year-old who's getting an iPad, and she also ordered something off.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
So does that adjust your thinking as to how you approach the
Well,
reward?
we don't know where it's going, we book people. I mean, the publishers don't know, bookstores don't know. We're all kind of in the salad spinner as far as our, I know I'll go on writing, but what the format's going to be, I don't really know. And right now, the e-royalties are much less than physical book royalties. Plus, I love books. I just love, and I think it's different when you actually have a child in your lap and a book, an actual book. But you know, I know that's very 20th century.
But it is to be determined how that's going to shake out.
It is.
And so maybe if enough people say, I want to hold that book in my hand and put that child in my lap and read to them, maybe that will alter the course of where it's headed.
Well, I hope so. I hope we will always have both. I hope we will always have books. I think that it is books. The book itself is an art form. I have a book about that called Book. So
I want to talk about that because that's a nice segue into what a lot of people don't realize, and what I learned through doing these author interviews is that you don't always get to do the illustrations yourself. You are often, or you don't get to select who does the illustrations necessarily.
Right.
So the publisher might just say, we're going to put you with so-and-so.
Yeah, I think most often that is the case. But if you have an editor, as I have had, Richard Jackson, since 1984, whose sensibility is very, you have a real harmonious sensibility and you have that trust. I have always felt good about the illustrators he has chosen, because he's brilliant about having the vision of what to
highlight or spotlight.
What two artists would come together and make something new. And Peter Catalinato, who did Sleep Song, that's our 9th book together. And Dick put us together.
So
and
there must a marriage made in heaven.
Yes,
huh?
it really
Nice
has
collaboration.
been.
George Ella Lyon, continued success. Maybe we'll get you back here next time and you'll have made it to 50 books. Who knows? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Children's author George Ella Lyon.